March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and it is very important that everyone gets screened regardless of your family history. Joining me today with more important information that really must be shared is Dr. Alan Chudzinski from Florida Hospital. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm so glad you're here because there's so many times that this has been in the news here recently, talking about younger generations and the increased rate of colon cancer. Break it down for us, doctor. What is key? Is it prevention? Is it screening? What do people need to be doing?
Well, we are seeing an increased propensity in younger generations that are having new diagnosis of colon and rectal cancer. And actually, we haven't been able to figure it out from an epidemiologic standpoint why that is occurring. So we still recommend that screening begins at the age of 50 for colonoscopy, 45 if you're African American. However, it is key that if you're having symptoms as a patient in terms of change in appetite, loss of appetite, change in your bowel habits, bloody bowel movements, unintentional weight loss, those are all great signs and symptoms that you need to go see a physician and potentially need a colonoscopy.
I'm curious, why is it that so many times when you hear someone gets the diagnosis of colon cancer, it tends to be in a stage 3, stage 4 situation, and that's why you see the rates that we do, unfortunately?
Unfortunately, people just aren't getting their colonoscopies appropriately when either they're having signs or symptoms or at the appropriate age for screening. And thus it's so important to get that message out there for patients to go and seek out their medical care. They unfortunately need to be advocates for themselves and speak up to their primary care doctors or seek out a colon and rectal surgeon or a gastroenterologist so they can get appropriately screened. The whole key with screening colonoscopies is that polyps can develop within the colon. These polyps, if left untreated over time, will develop into a type of cancer. So the key is to get your colonoscopy and nip out those polyps and completely remove them, thus decreasing your chances of developing colon and rectal cancer.
You know, I don't know how many times I've even talked to people who say, well, I don't have a family history of it, and yeah, I might be over 50, but I'm just going to procrastinate. I don't want to go through the colonoscopy. Why is that? Why is there such a stigma surrounding these kind of screenings?
I think the largest reason is, number one, people don't want something in a foreign orifice, obviously, and they're afraid, which is natural. And number two, the prep. They're so afraid of the prep they have to take the day before. I will tell you that preps have changed dramatically in the decades since doing colonoscopies. Number one, they're much smaller volumes. I use very small volume of solutions in order to get the effect that we need, and it's not aggressive, and patients certainly find it tolerable and state very often it wasn't as miserable or even as nearly as bad as they had expected. Number two is people are afraid that they're going to wake up or feel pain, and not like that. People are completely sedated when we do our colonoscopies. They go in, they meet with an anesthesiologist, everything is very much controlled, and oftentimes they wake up and they say, I can't believe it's done already, it wasn't that bad, is the most common thing I hear.
And I will say I've had a colonoscopy because of my family history. It really is not that bad at all. And in closing, I know you do provide special care, individualized care for patients. How important is that, and how important is it to share this message today?
I think it's fantastic. As a board-certified colon and rectal surgeon, we offer advanced technologies and ways to take care of a variety of colorectal diseases, and particularly colon and rectal cancer, so that we're doing surgeries on patients and removing, completely eradicating of them of their colon and rectal cancer through literally a less than 2-inch incision. So we use minimally invasive techniques in order to remove their cancer, all of the lymph nodes, and put them back together, avoiding ostomies at all costs and getting them back to a normal daily function.
I think key again, screening, screening, screening. We can't say that enough. If you think that you are having some issues, well, don't hesitate to get a hold of your doctor. And of course, Dr. Allen here, the perfect guy to do so. Thank you so much for your time. And there's a website and phone number on your screen.
You're very kind. Thank you.